Hey guys, what's up? Plastic Guy here, coming back with another figure review, and today we're taking a look at two new-ish Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Marvel Legends figures. These two are pretty much straight up re-releases from the No Way Home 3-pack, which we didn't get too long ago. It was like 4 or 5 months back. We took a closer look at that 3-pack up on the channel, and so I'm not really wanting to rehash anything that I spoke about in that video. That might be quite difficult, but blame Hasbro, okay? I just want to focus on the new things here in this video, and of course we do have two brand new head sculpts to take a closer look at. So with that being said, let's just take a closer look at Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man first. He is my favourite, always has been and always will be. We get this brand new retro carded packaging, which I actually quite like the look of. I think it captures the movie pretty well. We get some good No Way Home artwork down the side there. Spider-Man No Way Home up at the top. We see the figure, bunch of Marvel Legends, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man down here, a warning, and we get the back of the packaging here. Same image on the back, and yeah, if you want to read that right up, hit the pause button now. Yeah, I quite like the packaging. I think it's a good retro card, suits the movie, suits the figure. Let's bust them out of the packaging. So with Tobey out of the box, we get tooth whipping hands, one fisted hand, one wall crawling hand, and an alternative head. I really don't get the hands thing. We have already seen that we get a full set of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man hands in the No Way Home 3-pack. Their decision to not give us a full set of hands this time around is mind-boggling. I really do not understand. I would love to hear Hasbro's excuse for that. This is a £25 figure, and the figure itself does seem to be pretty good quality, but it just doesn't feel like we get much for our money here, especially when we don't get the hands that have already been released in the past. It feels like a really cheap move, but I'll leave my Hasbro rant until the end of the video. We've seen this head sculpt before, nothing really different. I do feel like the paint on this one isn't great. You can see the silver lines sort of disappearing on the left side here. Yeah, the paint apps on this head sculpt aren't great at all. It looks alright overall. I think the sculpt looks pretty good. The eyes don't seem very far apart, anything like that. But the silver webbing is pretty bad on this particular head sculpt right here. But once again, nothing new on this head sculpt this time around. And that just leaves us with the base body, in which we've seen before. And what I will say on this copy right here, and a lot of people's No Way Home Tobey that they've been posting on Instagram, I do feel like the paint applications are a lot better on the body. Obviously not on the head sculpt here, but the paint apps for the base figure do seem to be a lot more solid. The silver webbing does seem to be on the lines, and that's great to see. The No Way Home Tobey Maguire figure from the 3-pack, there was a lot of misprinting when it came to the silver webbing, and I do feel like they've done a better job this time around. It does look a lot more clean. I will just say really quickly, I do wish they kind of changed the colours a wee bit on this re-release, just so it was a bit different. The red and the blues are the exact same, and I do wish that red was a bit darker, and the silver they used, I wish it was more of a gunmetal grey. But as I said, I don't want to rehash the same points that I've made before. Let's take a closer look at this Tobey Maguire head sculpt. Now, when they first revealed this figure, when they first revealed the Peter Parker head sculpt, I thought it looked a bit off. I didn't think it looked great, but of course I was going to have to pick it up anyway, being a big Tobey Maguire fan. We've taken a look at so many of the Tobey Maguire figures here on the channel. I wasn't not going to be able to pick this up, you know, no matter how bad it may have been. But getting it in hand, taking a closer look, it is better than I originally thought. I think that there is more of a likeness to Tobey Maguire when you pick this thing up, have him in hand, as compared to the initial released photographs. It isn't excellent, it isn't 10 out of 10, I don't think the likeness is spot on, but it's definitely not bad, and as I said, I do think it looks better in hand. Yeah, I think Tobey Maguire's likeness is maybe just a bit difficult to capture. I've seen a lot of customs of Tobey Maguire head sculpts on Instagram, and although they are good, I don't want to do anyone a disservice, but they never quite capture the likeness 10 out of 10, you know what I mean? So I will let Marvel Legends away with it. I think it is a difficult character to capture. So for £25, I think this is good. I think it's not bad, it's alright. It could be better. We've seen better from Marvel Legends, I mean especially with the Green Goblin we just took a look at. The Norman Osborn head sculpt is 10 out of 10, but this is fine. Yeah, it's not 100% Tobey, but the likeness is there, and it's a decent job. And then we've got a re-released Andrew Garfield figure, and he comes in completely different packaging. I was going to wait until I got Tobey, Andrew and Tom, but Tom seems to be taking longer to arrive, so I thought I would do a video with the re-releases first, and then we'll take a closer look at that new final swing suit in a separate video. It would have been cool to get Andrew in the same packaging as Tobey and Tom, but I'm fine with this. I think it is a nice box, similar to the No Way Home packaging, but of course this has the Amazing Spider-Man 2 branding, and that's presumably just with likeness, licensing and whatnot, which Hasbro will use as an excuse to re-release these. But once again, I'll save my rant until the end of the video. We get Marvel Legends Amazing Spider-Man down in this corner, really nice artwork of Spider-Man. The display of the figure. Round on the back we get a different image of Spidey here, and if you want to read that right up, hit the pause button now. Once again, I really like this retro card, but let's get the figure out. So here is our Andrew Garfield figure out of the box, and similar to Tobey, we don't get a full set of hands. We get tooth whipping hands, the dodgy looking wall crawling hand that we saw in the 3-pack, like, is this a wall crawling hand? Is it a sort of pointing hand? I don't think anyone knows what this hand is, but we get this hand and one fisted hand. And once again, it's just like, what's going on? We had all of the hands there. We then get the alternative head sculpt, and once again, this one, at first I thought, yeah, there's a slight misprint. It's like slightly off the line there, but it does look fine. Just very similar, identical to the last release, and yeah, I do really like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 head sculpt that we get here. But of course, the only new thing on this one is the Andrew Garfield sculpt, and this is excellent. I don't know if I'm giving it 10 out of 10, maybe. If it's not 10 out of 10, it's 9 out of 10. The likeness is 100% there. You know exactly who this is. Once again, when the images of this release was first revealed, I thought it looked a bit off. I thought his jawline looked a bit square. I thought his hair looked really large. But once again, getting him in hand, this thing looks, as I said, it's nearly 10 out of 10 for me. The jaw looks absolutely fine. I also wasn't sure about the stubble. In some photos I thought the stubble looked really dark and obvious, but it looks absolutely fine here. The hair is a wee bit large, but I think it's very accurate to Andrew Garfield in No Way Home. I think this captures Andrew Garfield's No Way Home look slightly more because there is slight stubble there. In the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I don't ever recall him having any sort of facial hair. So it is weird, we got the Amazing Spider-Man 2 packaging, but more of a No Way Home likeness, I would say. But this could work for either or, for sure. I think this looks great, and I'm really happy to finally get an updated Andrew Garfield head sculpt. Because the last Andrew Garfield head sculpt was this Walmart exclusive that came out in 2012. We took a closer look at this thing in the Walmart exclusive Spider-Man video, and yeah, you can see that it's meant to be Andrew Garfield. I was really hyped when I first got this. I thought it looked a lot more like Andrew Garfield than I was anticipating, but talk about an upgrade 10 years later. Look how much better this one is. It is awesome to see these. I love seeing like action figure evolutions. You can see that the hair's there in this one, like they've done the hair fairly well the way it's sculpted, quite similar to the new one. But yeah, that face tech is unreal. I love this comparison, and it's such an upgrade. And it just shows why the collectors want to grab the same figures but with the alternate heads, especially when they're done to this quality. I've always loved the alter ego head sculpts, and Peter Parker is one of my favourite characters, so I mean, of course I needed the actors' portrayals here, and I think everyone else did, and yeah, they've done it justice this time around. And so to compare our two latest Tobey Maguire Spider-Man action figures, we have the £25 Marvel Legends figure next to the SH Figuarts Friendly Neighbourhood Spider-Man, which, if I remember correctly, retailed closer to that £80 price mark, and with such a big price difference you would expect the likeness of the SH Figuarts to be a lot better than the Marvel Legends. And I think it is. I do think the SH Figuarts does have a much better sculpt. The likeness to Tobey Maguire is a lot stronger. And as I said in my review of this up on the channel, I do think the SH Figuarts would benefit from some more paint apps just to make that likeness pop, for it to scream Tobey Maguire. But I do think the sculpt is really good. I think the likeness is on point. I think when it comes to the Marvel Legends, the paint app's really good, but it could use some work when it comes to the sculpting. I don't know, every time I look at this Tobey Maguire sculpt, I think differently. Like, sometimes I think it looks really strong, really good, and other times I think it looks really generic and not really like Tobey at all. So I do have some mixed feelings on this Marvel Legends, but both of these are really good in their own right and for the price points. I think this is a decent £25 figure, and this is definitely a great £80 figure. It's just going to come down to what you want to pay for your Tobey figure here. And of course we never ended up with an Andrew Garfield head sculpt for our SH Figuarts The Amazing Spider-Man figure, so you're probably wondering, what does the Marvel Legends head sculpt look like on the SH Figuarts? And that's it without any sort of mods, no tack or anything. I thought the head sculpt was going to look really large on this figure, and it does at the moment the way it's sitting on the neck, but actually proportion wise it doesn't look terrible. I mean, I thought it was going to look really bad, so I think this does look good compared to my expectations. I'm going to shove a wee bit of tack in so his head's sitting higher up and we can see what that looks like. Okay, so I've really quickly just shoved a wee bit of white tack in there, shoved the head on top. I could put some more time and effort into this, but just for the sake of the video, just whapped it on there, and I think it looks alright. It looks a lot better than I thought it would. It does still look a bit too big. You are probably going to be better off with a custom option, but it doesn't look too bad. You could definitely get away with it here and there if you're just, you know, taking some photos, getting the angles in there. All about the angles. Yeah, it's not terrible. I thought it was going to be pure nightmare fuel, but it's not the worst. So I can't quite remember the 3-pack review. I'm presuming I did figure comparisons in that video. I did a lot of figure comparisons over on my Instagram, so I'm not really too bothered about comparing figure to figure in this video. I do just want to focus on these new head sculpts, and when it comes to Tobey Maguire, we're going 20 years back the way to 2002, and this is still, I think, one of the better Tobey Maguire head sculpts, which is crazy. Don't get me wrong, I know this thing isn't quite holding up with the hair. It's very flat into the scalp here. It's not raised like we see in this new one, but to think that this was hand tooled in 2002, I mean, it really isn't as bad as you would think when you tell someone that. The likeness is certainly there for Tobey Maguire, and once again it's just awesome to see the evolution here. I do just wish the likeness was a wee bit better here. It looks quite generic, especially comparing him to this 2002 Toy Biz Tobey, but yeah, it is what it is. From 2002 to 2004 we've got the Pizza Scooter Spider-Man, and I actually think the 2002 likeness is slightly better. I still know who this is meant to be. It does have a likeness to Tobey Maguire. I think the hair is better, but yeah, I think the likeness in the 2002 one is slightly better in comparison to the 2004 one here. And I guess it just goes back to talking about capturing Tobey's likeness. It's weird. I feel like they've went back the way a wee bit, despite the 2 years difference between these figures being released. And yeah, I think this is a better comparison. It does show, I think this looks more of an upgrade than this one here. And of course it should be, being like 20 years older, but of course I had to compare these two. This was my most sought after figure. I'm so happy to have it in the collection, and it just fills me full of nostalgia now seeing new Tobey Maguire figures on the shelves with the Tobey Maguire head sculpt. The reason that this one was so sought after for me is because not only is the Buck one of the better 2004 Spider-Man figures from Toy Biz, but getting the Tobey head sculpt, it's just, it means a lot more to me. You know, I love Tobey Maguire's portrayal, a lot of nostalgia involved for me, and so this figure really wrapped it up as the full package for me. And yeah, now seeing a new modern version, I feel like I'm going to pick up a couple of these, even though the figure maybe doesn't even deserve it as much as it should, but yeah, here they are side by side. And talking about custom head sculpts not really nailing Tobey's likeness, I don't think that applies to this one. I think the likeness is spot on here. This head sculpt is incredible. I got this a few years back on eBay. I think it got shipped from somewhere in Asia, and I've not seen them in a while. I'm not sure if they're still up there. But yeah, I thought this looked great. This was way before No Way Home even came out, and there wasn't many options for Tobey Maguire figures, and I was so stoked with this. I still am, but the only problem is it is a lot more of a menacing look. This is clearly black suit Tobey, he looks pretty angry, and I do prefer the more casual, everyday look to Tobey here. But when you compare the likenesses, I mean, it kind of goes back to what I was saying. This just looks more like a generic take on that original trilogy, whereas this looks very much like Tobey Maguire. It is a shame it is such a specific look, and he's looking pretty mad. So we just took a look at the new Green Goblin here on the channel, and at the time I didn't have these new Spider-Man No Way Home figures, so I did just want to do a quick comparison here. And it is clear that Tobey is the odd one out, not by too much, but when you look at the Garfield head sculpt, Norman Osborn in the middle, yeah, it's not screaming Tobey instantly, you know what I mean? But these three do look excellent side by side. It is making me very happy. And then for the sake of the Raimi trilogy, we have the Green Goblin with his helmet on, next to our Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And when I compared the Green Goblin to the SHF Tobey, I did point out how he was a lot shorter, and even the Marvel Legends Tobey Maguire here is still quite a bit shorter than our Marvel Legends Goblin with the helmet on, so maybe that comparison wasn't too extreme as I originally thought, but yeah, these two look fine next to one another. I do just wish that this Spidey had a slightly different tone of red, and I wish the head sculpt was a wee bit better, but I might have a solution for that. So real quick, I did just want to show off this custom Spidey head sculpt that I bought from a guy named Mohammed on Instagram. I'll throw his tag up on the screen here because I can't quite remember his full account name. But these head sculpts are really affordable and they're great quality, and I do feel like it really improves this Marvel Legends Spider-Man figure. I do have 2 more head sculpts from him on the way that captures more of the 2002 Spider-Man movie look, because that is my favourite look to the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, so I'll hopefully show that off at some point. But I did just want to put our awesome looking Goblin here next to a more classic Raimi trilogy looking Spider-Man. And so there we have it for our 2 new Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Marvel Legends figures. And I think both of these are fine. I think they're good. I think the Andrew Garfield figure especially, you know, taking all my comments from the No Way Home 3-pack video, that is a solid figure, and now we have a great Andrew Garfield head sculpt to go along with it, so I would definitely advise picking that one up. And the Tobey Maguire figure is alright. I still have my problems with the base body and the head sculpt. I think the painting just doesn't look great, and the paint they've used, yeah, I think it could be improved. The head sculpt itself is, the new head sculpt I'm meaning, is pretty good. It's not amazing, it's not got that 10 out of 10 likeness, but it's not bad. The biggest issue with these figures are that they have been released before, and only about 4 or 5 months ago. I mean, I think it was 4 months ago I uploaded the 3-pack review. The pre-orders went out last December, and then the figures were released kind of halfway through the year, so to get these so soon after, I genuinely think it is the scummiest move that has ever been pulled from an action figure company. Hasbro can say that they had problems with the licensing all they want, but I still think it is utterly ridiculous, and it's a pure kick in the teeth for collectors. Every company knew how big No Way Home was. Every company knew how much collectors wanted to get their hands on No Way Home figures. Nothing was released for at least a year after the movie even came out, and then SHF showed off their figures with the alternate head sculpts. Unfortunately, the Andrew Garfield never got its head sculpt, but we got the Tobey head sculpts. And yeah, Marvel Legends knew exactly how collectors were feeling, that they wanted these figures, and so they revealed and released their No Way Home 3-pack that they knew every single collector, every single Spidey fan was going to jump on, to the point that the 2 or 3 times they released the 3-pack, it sold out instantly. Only for them then to turn around and release the same figures with the alternate head sculpts. And this was rumoured to happen way back early in the year, so it's almost as if Marvel Legends knew exactly that they were going to release the figures with the likenesses. They might say, oh, we weren't sure, it was up in the air. No, they had a plan, and the plan was leaked. I just didn't personally believe it, because I thought, how could a company be so spineless to cheat over their fans like that? And I know this is a pretty hardcore rant, but I mean, it is pretty crazy. You know, I feel like Hasbro need to kind of confirm that they're not going to pull this shit again, because when does the next movie come out, and when do they just go on a hiatus for the movie figures, then reveal the figures so everyone buys them, and then go, oh wait, we'll actually throw this in 4 or 5 months down the line. And so yeah, I sold my No Way Home 3-pack to make room for these ones, because the alternative likenesses are what a lot of people are wanting. With these characters and these figures, it's the actor's portrayal of Spider-Man that really makes it unique, and a lot of folk have a lot of fond memories tied within. So if you can get the Peter Parker head sculpt, of course you're going to go for that. And I feel like Marvel Legends knew exactly what they were doing when they revealed that 3-pack, only to turn around and release the same figures with the likenesses once again, only 4 or 5 months later. It's borderline criminal. I feel like we've been scammed, but that's my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of Hasbro and the way they've dealt with No Way Home and the figures that they've revealed for it. The rest of the wave looks excellent. I really want to pick up Sandman, maybe even MJ, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm happy with the 3 so far, and I can't wait to review that final swingsuit when it finally arrives. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll leave the link to my Instagram in the description below, where I'll definitely be posting some pictures of the Peter Parkers up over there. While you're down there guys, if you could do me a massive favour and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, then please hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching this video right here, and as always, I'll catch yous on the flip flop later. Cheers.